Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
First, a word from our sponsor. What is Leica? Leica makes your entire compliance process simple. Leica goes beyond integrations. Their platform connects to your everyday applications and applies actual human expertise to robust software that powers your compliance. Leica easily connects to your applications and instantly creates tailored policies based on your business. Then, compliance experts guide you through automated workflows designed to help you conquer certifications like SOC 2, HIPAA, and GDPR. Leica is the only compliance platform that offers a true integrated audit solution. No more messy spreadsheets, miscellaneous audit documents. Their team of experts manages your audit from beginning to end. Leica is more than just one solution. It maintains 100% confidence in your compliance program with custom monitors and alerts. As the compliance evangelist, I certainly understand the complexities around compliance, particularly around SOC 2, HIPAA, and GDPR. It's hard to unpack requirements when you may not know what they are within your budget and your growth stage. Leica is the solution for you. Listeners to this podcast get 20% off when you join. Visit heyleica.com/compliance to get their exclusive deal. That's HEYLAIKA.com/compliance to request a demo and get 20% off when you sign up with Leica. The Daily Compliance News for November 24, 2021. The What Could Go Wrong edition. And we begin with that story as Pemex has bought a Shell refinery in Deer Park, a town outside of Houston, that Shell has operated for 30 years. What could go wrong? Well, when you have one of the most corrupt companies on earth, don't know how corrupt Mexico might be, moving into the United States, you can begin to see some problems immediately. Overlay that with Pemex is a state-owned enterprise of Mexico, and although I'm sure Pemex USA owns this, the ultimate owner of the refinery is Pemex. So any monies that might be paid, gifts, entertainment, travel, or other that may be thought of as a domestic matter become FCPA matters. Obviously, PDVSA and their ownership of Citgo is the prime example. Well, what happens when Pemex calls United States citizens to Mexico and arrests them like Pemex did? You begin to see some of the problems. But all the people in the supply chain, all the companies in the supply chain, these are potentially FCPA violations, just as PDVSA's ownership of Citgo has caused innumerable FCPA cases. This matter is going to really complicate things going forward. Our next article comes to us from the Wall Street Journal that Walgreens, Walmart, and CVS Pharmacies all contributed to the opioid epidemic and Ohio jury fines. So this is the first time pharmacies have been held liable for contributing to the opioid crisis, and it's certainly going to drive them to the settlement table. Next up, global regulators have raised capital requirements for 3 banks. As reported by the New York Times, the Financial Stability Board has raised capital requirements for 3 banks considered systemically important, BNP Paribas, Goldman Sachs, and JP Morgan, as part of a yearly review on safeguards that are set to prevent another global financial crisis like the one we had back in 2008. Goldman Sachs and J.P. Morgan Chase sought bank status after the 2008 crisis when they were severely tested, and they now see that they're requirements if they want that kind of oversight, or rather government protection. And our final story comes to us from Stars and Stripes, a first-time contributor to the Daily Compliance News. And anyone who's followed corruption over the past few years knows who Fat Leonard is. Well, he's the star witness in an upcoming series of trials against new U.S. naval officers, and he is told all through a podcast. So as you imagine, me, the voice of compliance, certainly applaud him for putting out his own podcast. But it's going to be interesting to see how that will be used at this trial. So congrats to Fat Leonard for telling his story through the podcast format.
The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.